Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships
Happy Thursday and getting ready for the weekend. I'm Weatherman Dustin Staples. Going to keep you some company for a little bit of time. So we thank you for continuing to stick around and watch your Neighborhood Network news, the only daily newscast you can catch here on your Neighborhood Network, as well as your weekend newscast. So if you miss some things throughout the week, we always highlight the top stories that were trending either on social media or here on TV. And it's been quite busy. You're probably noticing Luis has been going to several multiple investigations going around in our area, so we're going to be the first to let you know about those stories, as we are always on top of things with our mediocre team we have here. Mediocre, I think everybody does a wonderful job. They're not mediocre, they do a great job here working with the shout out to Luis. He's been up at late those last couple of nights and get some rest this weekend, but I really appreciate you doing everything. We just can't extend your appreciation for staying on top of the news, and we just thank you for your running the news department and many other things you don't see him do on the camera. He's always working behind the scenes and looking for the next news story for you to send him to do. So head over to our Facebook page and message to us on that note. All right, let's get you now to the forecast here. We're going to talk about the nation for a little bit here and explain this drought monitor situation. You can kind of see we're pretty okay, actually. We're not severely in a drought. We did have those thunderstorms that if you did see rain over the last couple of days, you're fortunate enough the grass has been needing it. It's beginning to get so dry out there now. And if you did some mowing like I did last weekend, you're noticing, man, the grass is starting to die. That's all thanks to the heat that's in control now. That area of high pressure. Once again, we talked about that high pressure earlier this past week, the dome that's been building in here outside of this Ohio and Mid-South River valleys. And again, our friends out here to the west, this drought has been ongoing for decades now. And now they have seen not much rainfall. And thankfully, we are not seeing major hurricanes impacted by this region here. But typically, they do get their beneficial rain when hurricanes or tropical storms that come riding along the Gulf of Mexico here, and that gives that beneficial rain for those folks in Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama as well. So, but the folks out towards Nevada, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, that has been an ongoing drought for the last decades or so and a half. So other than that, no severe drought here for us for the rest of tonight. For locally back home here in Southside, get ready to see not as humid conditions and maybe a stray shower possible later this evening, but if you don't see any rain, you're most likely going to see variably to mostly to partly cloudy skies. Overnight, your lows dropping in the mid-60s across all of our hometown, so your backyard thermometers may read a little cooler. Other than that, you may just experience a cool and muggy, or not as muggy, afternoon and evening for us. Moving on now to some area-wide temperatures for our Friday as we get the weekend started, rocking and rolling around here. The final weekend of June, because we begin July next Friday, a week from Friday. Just keep that in mind. So be sure to change your checks, providing from 6 to 7. It's mid to low 80s across many of our area. Temperatures there. A cool spot is our friends in Medizadin at 78. So maybe cool off and take a trip outside of Patrick County. I know I keep emphasizing that a lot. I know we've got a lot of things going on this weekend. We've got the canoe on the river in Franklin County. Get your boat, listen to some music taking place. That scale started at 6:30. Several fundraising events happening across many of our regional fire departments. I believe Horse Pasture is one of those fire departments in Philadelphia. Collins Fire Department is doing some fundraising this weekend. And hey, you got a nice weekend in store for you. So go out and support local, and particularly thank our fire and EMS individuals who do just a wonderful job, as Luis has been interacting with them. Like I said, this past several days, he's been to a couple of those house fire believe it was a structure fire and several motor vehicle accidents. He's been out there with those fine individuals. So I always thank Fire EMS and our friends from the police department who do just a great job protecting us, and as they do so every day. So thank you all for your service. So again, if you're heading out to those fundraising events for Saturday, Friday, or Saturday, or any other activities taking part our region, having a bit of trouble here. Luis was doing that yesterday. Now I'm having trouble speaking here today. And mixed sun and clouds for both Saturday and Sunday. Warm, near 90 on Sunday. So we'll have another influx of some heat building in. But this time around, we have a chance of storms moving in possibly late in the afternoon. But other than that, you may see your typical pop and go storm. We like to call those popcorn storms as they develop for us as well. So a little even on Sunday. So if you have any yard work you want to do, maybe do it, Friday or late in the day on Friday or Saturday, even Sunday afternoon. Just keep in mind that you might have a backup plan just in case you may see some showers. Again, we'll have a front that's going to come through here on Monday, give us some afternoon thunderstorms for us. And again, the grass does need it. It's been a little dry for us, but I showed you on the drought monitor, we're pretty okay. But nationally as a whole, we've been suffering for quite a while, again, for our friends out towards west. So if you have folks in California, Nevada, not Oklahoma, New Mexico, Utah, out there region, let them know, hey, that 30-year drought continues on to persist. And again, for our folks along Texas and Louisiana, most of your rainfall does come in the form of those tropical storms that kind of come through there and give you all beneficial rain. Again, that's all in the Gulf of Mexico. And speaking of the tropics, real quiet, we're not doing too bad. Started out so far. We've only had Alex, as you know, begin at the beginning of this month. That was Agatha back in the late May of Central or the Eastern Pacific there outside of Mexico. That's where it made landfall. But other than that, we may not have much tropical storm activity here over the next little bit. That's also thanks to some Sahara dust. Remember about 2 years ago, we had that impact for our region, but our friends down to the south and Gulf of Mexico states are seeing a little bit of Sahara dust, and that's filtrating in the Atlantic Ocean. That's allowing some of that tropical activity to kind of remain quiet. So if you have any scheduled trips, maybe down to the Yucatan Peninsula or just outside of the Caribbean or cruise ships, go for it. You have a nice week. Remember, it's going to be hotter because the tropical moisture is available down that way. So other than that, if you have any cruises you're going to be going on to, not much to be concerned about. Just keep in mind when we see these passing fronts that come through, they may have a bit of an impact on those of that. But other than that, maybe making a trip up to the northeast where it's going to be the cool spot this weekend. As temperatures are going to be in the 60s up there for Vermont, New Hampshire, outside of Connecticut and Rhode Island and Maine even too. So other than that, not much to be complaining about here except the summertime weather does continue. So again, one more recap. Tomorrow's not looking too bad for a Friday. For the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, just a stray shower possible. Most likely on Sunday afternoon, we'll have a cold front come through here, knocking our temperatures down just a few degrees as we end the month of June. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I will see you next week here on BTW21. We thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with us. You could be doing other things, but you're making time to check us out here. Really, really appreciate that. Take care, everybody. We'll hope you enjoy your weekend.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.